Now I know you're thinking, Bree, what the hell? Did I make the right decision?
Intended name, shade orange.
What?
Shadow.
Shadow.
Called this awning. What does it do? It makes a shadow. Shadow.
Let's jump into this episode because I'm doing a little bit of recap on how we took this vehicle from a completely brand new stock N80 Hilux to this half-built Tourer that's sitting behind me. You might have forgotten just how far this N80's come, so let's start from the beginning. We dropped in for a full pre-rego core conversion down at Superior Engineering, where we went through second stage manufacturing that allows you to go big legally right from the get-go. And if you don't know what that means, I actually broke it down in my very first episode on the channel, which is worth a watch if you're new to this stuff. Now, let's talk about what went into it. So obviously, we coil converted the rear, replacing the leaf springs with coils. It's chassis braced for strength, but that also allows us to get the GVM upgrade that's in place. It's 4-inch lifted, which is fully engineered. We obviously upgraded the front suspension to match, including new control arms, which is all a part of the kit, superior remote res, front and rear, braided brake lines, extended sway bar links, diff drop, the works. It was a serious day one transformation, and most importantly, it's 100% legal, engineered, and compliant across the board. Thing I did was probably one of the most underrated but important modifications. Bush Wrap's paint protection film. Every car I care about gets PPF. I actually installed their DIY kit myself at home, which covers the guards, doors, pillars, and even the tub. The other thing I also did was I took it into Bush Wraps to get the bonnet done. Now that is something that's not available in the DIY kit, and you do have to get it professionally installed, which has a 10-year warranty on the bonnet, and we have a 5-year warranty on the DIY kit. So between pinstripes from bush tracks and mudstones flinging up, the PPF does the job. It was time to give it some bite. I took the Hilux into my mates at Tuneworks, and this is where performance upgrades began. We swapped out the factory turbo for a G turbo. Now the later model N80 Hiluxes already come out with a bigger turbo than the earlier ones. But after talking with Tuneworks crew about the benefits, response, reliability, and power delivery, it made sense to upgrade. And to be honest, it didn't take much to twist my rubber arm. Along with all that though, we fitted a Radius Fabrications stainless snorkel. That thing screams in a good way. We also installed a Radius airbox and ran a custom tune on the Tuneworks dyno. Just to recap, 165 kilowatt and 738 newton-meters at the wheel. The best part is how it drives though. The tune gives it grunt down low where you need it, for towing and crawling, but still holds strong enough through the rev range. Sharp throttle response, great reliability, and it just makes the Hilux feel the way it should have from factory. Also, who would have thought adding more power would have actually saved me on my fuel economy? It's now been 12 months since that tune, no issues, no regrets, and easily one of my favourite parts of the build. And with all that done, all that was left was to turn this into the Tourer that may or may not divide the internet. Let's talk about the all-new ModCAP Family Camper.
Look at the size of... We're going to get into unpacking this setup, and then tomorrow, bring the Hilux in and start fitting it out.
So it arrives in a few pieces, in some boxes, actually a lot of boxes. Like if IKEA made overlanding gear, this is how it would show up. A lot of those boxes are accessories because there's not much Alu-Cab hasn't thought of. It's a seriously practical and modular setup. Now, full disclosure, I wasn't sold on the aesthetics at first. It's definitely not sleek, sexy canopy that turns heads. It took some thinking, but once I dug into the build quality and practicality, I was keen to give it a go and go against the norm here in Australia. So let me explain what's in the setup. First up, the filler kit. This replaces your tailgate and becomes the rear door of the camper. Once that's fitted, it's time to bolt on the base, which secures straight to the tub. Now this bit's probably the scariest part because you don't want a square box ruining the Hilux looks, but once it's on, things start to take shape. We then rolled on the rubber mat on top of the base, ready to lift on the tent and bolt it all down. This is what creates the actual camper. This is the longest and hardest part of the install because once the foundations are set, you get to play with all the accessories. We mounted a 60-litre water tank on the headboard, threw on molly panels around the inside and outside, even on the windows for extra security and mounting options in the future. At the back, there's a rear door kitchen and we've got the awning set up, which really starts to make the whole thing come to life. And a cool thing about this camper that most of the wiring is pre-done, ready to hook up with pre-wired Deutsch connectors to make life easy. Of course, being a home on wheels, it also comes with fly and canvas screens on all windows and even the rear door. So if you want to leave the setup open on a hot summer night, you can get good airflow while keeping the bugs out. So why did I go with this setup? The looks, of course. I'm just kidding. But honestly, if you're someone who really cares about aesthetics, this setup might raise an eyebrow too. It did for me at first, but the practicality outweighs the cons, and I've got a few ideas to make it all look sharp anyway. For me, the reason I went with this setup has nothing to do with making the car look aesthetically pleasing for random people on the internet who probably wouldn't have anything good to say anyway. This is all about function. This setup gives me everything I get from a traditional train canopy, and then some. As you can see, I've done something a little bit different on the back of the Hilux. It's not a train canopy, we've still kept the tub, and we've done what you would consider a slide-on camper kind of setup. So this is the Alu-Cab ModCAP Family Camper. We've got a massive tent up there that sleeps 4 people. You can leave 2 doonas, 4 pillows. It honestly sleeps the whole family. It obviously means we can stand up in there because the bed frame actually pops up like you see in a troop carrier, which means we are actually going to be working on an internal fit out for the inside of this so that if we've got bad weather or anything like that, we can live and comfortably sit inside the tub and even cook our meals at night if we wanted to. The other thing though, when it's a beautiful sunny day, it has this awesome little kitchen here on the rear door, which obviously has your slide out chopping board, your pull down bench, and a bunch of storage. And it's even got a cheeky little can crusher on the side here. It's a pretty cool little setup. It's definitely something a little bit different. And as you guys would have seen during the install, it's quite a modular setup. And when I'm saying that, we're talking about the molly panels that we have here. We can mount things if we wanted to. People put their gas bottles and things like that. We've also got molly panels on the side of the doors as well for extra storage and even security. So when you're sleeping at night, you know, no one's going to be able to break in. We, of course, have the water tank up on the headboard. That is a brief rundown. I've obviously given you guys a bit of information on the actual setup itself, but let's climb inside and take a better look at it. It's like MTV, welcome to my crib. So as you can see, it's actually quite roomy up in here. I've got Josh who's filming and is standing up in the tub, but this is one part of the bed, which is plenty enough for me to sleep on alone. To be honest, you could probably get 2 people here if you really wanted to. But what that means is this whole tub space doesn't get interfered by the bed frames that are up here as well. But if you do have you and your family, or you do want more space because you want to get away from your partner at night, you can simply pull down one extra part of the bed frame and then you can double the size. As you can see, that part there is actually a whole nother part to the bed, which is pretty crazy because this whole platform, front to back, is an actual bed, but you don't have to utilize it as that. So you can still stand up in the tub and have a massive amount of bed space. But if you're someone like me who's going to travel alone, you can just pop this part up and then you can still have full use of the tub in the living area that's downstairs. Never thought I would say I've had a downstairs in one of my vehicles camping setups, but here we are. Anyway, the Alu-Cab tent's pretty cool. We've got a full sunroof here, windows either side, and a complete front window as well. Plenty of airflow. Plus, in summer, you can also camp with your doors up because we do have mozzie and canvas on the windows that you can pull up or down depending on what you want. And same with the rear door as well. So you can sleep with everything completely open for those warmer days in summer. It's actually going to be a nifty little setup. This episode was more about showing you guys what we're putting on, the installation, me wondering if I made the right or wrong decision, because I definitely looked at this a few times and said, what have I done? Have I made the right decision? Because it's not that aesthetically pleasing. And to be honest, it was probably one of the main things I was worried about when installing this. But now that I've got it on, every day I look at it, it does grow on me. I still have some reservations about it, but I think the more I use it and actually go out, I think I might actually fall in love with it. Anyway, guys, that's this episode. Just giving you a bit of an introduction. Next time, we have a full internal fit out coming in this, which I think is what's really going to tie this together. And if you are feeling a little bit divided, it might make you like it a little bit more. So stay tuned. We have a bull bar going on. We have the internal fit out. We have a bunch of lights. We've got 12 volt coming. We've got whole bells and whistles ready to go in and hopefully make this into the ultimate tourer.